Good afternoon. We are looking at the clouds, certainly moving in as we look at satellite and radar imagery. The radar, of course, the rain's way off to the east, but look at all this cloud cover extending all the way back to Dallas, even though the leading edge of the rain is way over into Georgia and Florida at this point. And clearly we have a lot of cloud cover coming. We may get breaks. You can see a few breaks here and there, so there could be a few sunny spells, like I said earlier. But overall, we'll look for clouds probably into tonight and through part of the day, at least tomorrow, before we look for more sunshine, kind of the more dominant theme as we get into the weekend. Rain totals were about a ½ inch, some places up to about 3/4 of an inch, some not so much, like 2/10 of an inch or a little less than that at Slidell. And here is the cloud scene. You can see it kind of hanging over, but with peaks of blue sky. Current temperatures are in the 50s, and looking at our winds, they are up a touch, certainly breezy at the lakefront and Kenner. Sustained winds up to 15 to 20 miles per hour or so there, and gusts you can see like at Kenner close to 25 to 30 miles per hour. Today our highs will be pretty much where they are right now. I have them in the middle, maybe to upper 50s, but not really changing much as far as the temperature goes today thanks to those clouds. And then tonight the clouds will also hold our temperatures from plummeting way too far downward. We will be on the upper 30s north and 40s south. 7 p.m. tonight, chilly. I would plan on several days, many days out, 7 days in fact, having below average temperatures even for January in New Orleans. Tomorrow morning, a cold start, but not freezing, even north of the lake. Tomorrow afternoon, here we are looking at highs only around 50, but probably some sun coming out, so a little bit of a balance there. 8 p.m. we'll look for upper 30s and 40s in New Orleans. And then here is early Saturday morning. This is before sunrise. By sunrise, we may be near 30 on the North Shore with a light freeze and near upper 30s even for New Orleans. So that would be a chance to protect your plants and pets both mornings or this weekend, Friday night and Saturday night, and into next week too, because of the light frost conditions, possible south and light freeze conditions north of the lake. It's going to be a cool weekend, you can see. We stay chilly and dry through the weekend, but here is the next big cool down that we're getting, this dip in the jet stream transporting that cold air. It's incredible to see it, but all the way south to Louisiana. I mean, that's typical for winter, of course, but we're just so used to 90s and feels like 100, 110. It is the time of year, of course, where we do get these fronts. And even though we're expecting with this next front, probably mainly just a cold shower set up early Monday for most of us, there is a chance that far north, maybe near Franklinton, Bogalusa, toward Macomb, Mississippi, there might be a little wintry precipitation mixed in with the cold rain, perhaps. So we'll watch that potential and keep you updated. You can see it stays chilly into next week for sure, too.
Thanks, Alexandra. The world watched yesterday's attack on the Capitol.